Oh, shit. Here we go again.
And I promise you this, above all else, I'm going to be more obnoxious, more overbearing, and I'm going to make you all learn to love it because you'll have no choice.
It's time! Welcome to the Probably Wrong podcast. I'm going to swallow my cough drop. Tony, Ryan, Mike, Dave. Let's go.
Okay. You dropped it.
I got my cough drop.
The last time you didn't have something, you were disappointed in yourself.
I know, but
Today,
I got cough drop. I can't speak. I got to chew on these. There we go.
The playoffs are here.
They're here, finally.
Best time of year.
It's a good time of year because you got the NFL draft, you got the playoffs, you got baseball going.
Golf. WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
Golf. You
Hockey,
got everything.
Hockey for the hockey fans. Don't know many of those.
WrestleMania for the WrestleMania fans.
Who likes hockey?
Yeah. Yeah, great time of year.
It is. So,
All right, done with the cough drops.
we're coming off the heel of our Probably Wrong event.
Oh, it went great.
Thank you to everybody who came. It was a great time.
Yep.
Can't wait to do it again.
Yep.
So-
Ryan was there for about 7 minutes.
Yep. Yeah. Drove all the way down to Worcester.
And
Looked
then-
at the crowd and was like, guys, I'm
out
out
of
of here.
here. I'm out.
I'm probably going to leave.
I'm probably on my way back home.
But it was fun. It was fun to see everybody. You know, I wish we saw more people. You know, but
We'll do it again. We'll
do it
see
again.
more people. I think the people that showed up had a good time, so they'll show up
I
again.
think they had a great time. I
Yeah.
think overall, I was pleasantly surprised isn't the word, because I knew we were going to have fun just because, you know, when the three of us actually do get together, it's a good time.
Yeah.
But I stayed till 8:30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dave left before I
left
did.
before.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't on purpose, but he left at 8:30.
Well, we had a good group of people there, so of course it was going to be fun. Your kids were having fun.
They were having a blast,
He had so
swindling
much fun that
everybody.
he ordered another pizza.
I tried to leave. Did I tell you that story?
No,
I
no.
tried to leave. And I looked at Leah. I go, all right, let's go. She's like, we can't. I go, what do you mean we can't? She goes, your son just ordered a pizza.
Dalton's hungry.
You know how much he ate of that pizza that night?
Probably 2 slices.
None.
No, even better.
Took it home, had some the next day. So
Who runs this family?
Apparently Dalton.
yeah, he did, and he ran that night. That night was for my son, just in case you were wondering. That was nothing to do with the show. He
Right, but I think it's great that your kids went and had a good time because a lot of parents don't go out and they're like, I got kids, I can't, and that's not really an excuse when we do something like that.
yeah.
So
A couple
if you
other
have
people
kids,
brought their
and you
kids.
watch the show, bring your kids.
Yep.
The kids had a blast.
They did. They really did. It was fun, and it was the place was packed though. I'm glad Paulie.
Yeah.
Glad Porn Stash Paulie was able to pull off those tables. So thank you, Paulie.
Yeah. We had 3 booths,
Yep.
right? It was great. It worked out perfect. We had them right in the corner too. It was great.
So next time we do this though,
Get a fourth, maybe?
either that or we make it a event.
All right.
Like
like
we
a
have
Facebook event?
either that or we just have our own, because I think we could fill it now. I think now with what we just saw just show up and the amount of people that could have gone, and there were a lot of people in and out that night too.
Yeah.
And like if we actually got ourselves
Like a side room at Barrett's?
side room at
and then
Barrett's.
we could do a broadcast?
yes, we could have all of our guests. Ryan wouldn't have to make a 3-hour trip to turn around and go right back home because
That
there was
was
no
weird.
room.
Yep,
45
yep.
minutes.
All right, and then we could have all our guests, and then we could have, a microphone going through the audience if they have questions or they want to throw in their 2 cents. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Something. It'll
What do
be
you guys think? The problem is, when you set it up, people have to show up.
Right, but I
And
think
sometimes people commit.
well, we have plenty of time to do it, and
Yeah.
we can plan it. Not that we didn't plan this one properly, because I think this was what we expected. We had
Yeah.
we had a night out. This will be a true like meet and greet. True,
You know what might be a good idea? If we had people buy T-shirts, and then they pick up the T-shirts at the event.
right? Because a lot of people who came to the event were looking for merch.
Yep.
So
And a few of us had it on, and we looked pretty cool.
we did.
Yeah.
we did. So
All right.
goes in the mail, Ryan.
All right.
So yeah, it was fun. I had a great time. So
It was a good 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was nice to see you. And I'm like, where the hell's Ryan? They're like, he went home. I'm like, dude, he just got here. I'm like, yeah, he went home.
Paulie tried to get him a table, and thank you, Paulie, but the manager quickly shut him down.
And I saw that shutdown, and I saw that line. I said, Mike, Had a good time.
He was there to witness the shutdown
You should have
firsthand.
just kicked us out of the booth. I would have
no,
left
no,
if I knew. I don't need to sit down.
It's fine.
You know, brought your wife, the son down there all the way, and then turn around and be like,
Yeah.
She said, "What?" I said, "Yes."
did they say, do you really know these guys?
Yeah.
So, looking forward to the next event. So, all right, just checking our viewers here. A big happy birthday to my mother. She's watching the show right now.
Diane?
So, happy birthday.
birthday.
You know, my
Happy
dad's
birthday.
tomorrow, so
Wow,
I'm sure he's
that's kinda
listening.
weird, huh?
Yeah, bang them both out real quick.
yeah.
My daughter's is next week.
All right.
My kids are like that. June 10th, June 11th.
Yeah. Bang it right out. Done. Combined birthday party.
Week 3
Hopefully
NFL.
they don't get married. That'd be weird. It'd be very strange.
I mean, he's from the west coast of
Yeah, yeah.
Massachusetts.
It's Central Mass. We have this discussion all the time.
It's Western Mass.
Western.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
it's
they do that
Western
out
to
there.
us.
They're in Kentucky.
Yeah.
You haven't met the real Western Mass then. But anyways.
I don't want to go any
don't
further
wanna
than
go.
Worcester where you live. It's Western enough for me.
I've been to Springfield. I don't need to go back.
Oh, no.
Ugh, it's all upstate New York to me. So, we have, coming up this Sunday at 3:30, the Celtics and the Orlando Magic.
Are you going to play something?
Because
He's playing
there's
right
no
now.
other reason why. The Celtics are the balls. Who's going to win it? The Celtics.
We're just going to play it again because I hit the wrong button.
I love it. It's a great
Celtics are the
tune.
balls.
The Orlando Magic, you look at it and you go, we should sweep these guys right out. Right?
Yep.
But, truth be told, and I think
Magic
this is why
have
you're...
been a problem for
What?
them for a couple of years.
The Magic had the second best win percentage against the Celtics since 2022.
Yeah. But Suggs is out.
Yep.
And they've been struggling to score points without Suggs.
They put up 120, but they did have a big stretch last night where they didn't score.
Yeah, and I think if you struggle to... Because Orlando's kind of big, they're hard-working, they're aggressive. But if you're playing the Celtics team, if they had Suggs, it might be a little bit of a problem. But if you go on these spurts where you can't score, you can't do that against the Celtics team.
Right.
We score a lot.
We score a shitload.
So I think if Suggs was there, you would be looking at this like, oh, this isn't a good matchup. This might be a 6 or 7 game series. The fact that he's not there, I can breathe a little bit easier, even though I'm sick. Because I just don't think they're going to be able to.
Did you just move over?
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the points. I think that's going to be the issue. If Suggs was there, I'd be kind of nervous right now because they beat us several times.
I've always felt that when we play them, if we got them in a 7-game series, it's no contest. And that's how, going into this, I think if the Magic were to win a game 1, it's the Celtics' Achilles heel, game 1.
Yeah.
So,
We've been resting a lot, too. So there could be some rust.
Jaylen Brown, let him sit. Go ahead, Dave, sorry.
Well, I feel like these numbers for Orlando are all regular season,
Well, yeah.
and I don't think the Celtics will falter against this team in the playoffs. I mean, maybe one game, but I don't think this is that tough of a series.
So we thought going into this year, they had something to prove, right? They were going to be pedal to the metal. Jason Tatum, MVP season. This team is sick and tired of listening to all the announcers, listening to all the broadcasters. So you almost want to say that going into the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. And then you saw what just happened this season. I think going into the playoffs, you'd want to see that. Be like, well, we got tomato cans last year. Watch what we do this year. I don't think that's this team's character.
Yeah, they don't have that Kobe Bryant killer instinct, if that's what you're talking about. Because if Kobe was on a team like this, he would probably want to make a point and win 70 games. I think this team had a little bit more of a laid-back approach all season long. But I think you're going to get into a lot of these like different matchups. And you're just going to see that offensively we're just very talented and a lot more talented than these other teams. And when the defense spikes up for the Celtics in the playoffs, these teams that have a hard time scoring, they're going to score maybe a little bit less. And we just have shooters all around the perimeter, and it's going to be tough to match up.
And the Magic just got the kiss of death because you had their fans chanting, "We want Boston."
Yeah, you're going to get Boston. We'll see. I do like the Magic team. I just don't think this is a very good matchup.
I love
Yeah, they're just a year away from being
a year or two away. Yeah.
You got to come forward a little bit. when you want to speak.
Oh, my
They're a
bad.
year away. Well, maybe 2.
But I love Blanchero. What's not to like about him?
No, great.
Cole Anthony, Suggs. They got a good team. You know, they put some veterans
bench,
around
too.
them. Yeah.
Black.
They're a scrappy team. Celtics got to put their foot on their throat and knock these guys out in 4. And I wouldn't mind seeing Jaylen Brown and his knee. I don't want to have to see him this series.
Yeah, that kind of makes me a little bit nervous as we go further into the playoffs.
Right.
But he shouldn't be a factor in this, anyways.
No, we have the team. I mean, what if Porzingis is playing the way that we've seen him play? Tatum, especially the way we've seen him play late. Peyton Pritchard has emerged. Hauser has emerged. But those guys last year, just think. I mean, we really didn't need them last year. But both those two players are light years better than they were last year.
I think everyone loved Pritchard last year because he was hitting half-court shots, but they failed to realize that he played, I think, a minute in the final game. So
Right.
he wasn't playing valuable minutes.
But what I'm saying is,
he's much better now.
With the Brown injury, we can actually we can play these guys and let Brown sit back.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Peyton's proved it all year long.
He's a
You
stud.
give the ball in his hand, he's not going to make mistakes. He
Right,
really
right.
isn't. He's
and
much like Kyrie Irving. When he's dribbling the ball, it is hard to take it away from him. I'm not saying he dribbles like Kyrie, but I'm saying
Right.
is he's
dribbles
not one to
well.
turn over that ball.
Right. And
So-
I think if Brown's out, he's going to be in the game with Derek White and Drew Holiday at times, so he's going to be more of like a spot shooter, which he's deadly at. So I hope that knee's okay. It would suck to lose later on in the play. I mean, you got to win the first series, but it would suck to have an injury like that kind of ruin your
Derail.
chances to repeat.
Hey, may give Tatum a chance to shine.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's been his team all year, so
I know Dave's waiting for that
I am. I mean, last year it was Jaylen Brown, MVP.
until the game's counted.
I think a lot of us want Tatum to take over games. And the way that he takes over games, it's different than Jordan. It's different than Kobe. It's a little bit more of a facilitator with a little bit of scoring. But I think we're used to guys taking over games and having a 15-point fourth quarter. And I don't think Tatum does that.
He did it last year when it
He
counted.
can do
though.
it. He can do it at times, but I think his skill set is more of being a dribble penetrator, scoring a little bit here, finding the open man. He's a little bit more of a passive.
And it worked for us last year.
Oh, I'm not complaining about it. It's just different. It's similar to LeBron when LeBron takes over a game. A lot of times he's getting easy baskets. I think what Dave's alluding to is I want to see you score 20 points in the fourth quarter, the way Kobe would always do it, and Jordan. I think that's what some Celtics fans want, but he's not. He's a great scorer, but he's not limited. I don't want to say limited because Jordan and Kobe didn't have to do that, but they would step on your throat single-handedly. But Tatum doesn't really do it like that.
He doesn't step on throats.
He doesn't step on throats.
No, I mean,
And it worked last year. Yeah, I get that.
last year, the final
But
game of that Dallas series, we won that because Tatum stepped on their throat. You can't look back at it now and say he didn't. He did. He came to play that game. He put that team on his back and showed up in the most crucial moment and won us that game.
I think
I barely remember. Go ahead, Dave.
He helped Jaylen Brown put his foot on Dallas's throat.
No, and when he won that MVP, it took a lot of people by surprise because especially after that game, they're like, "This Tatum got it." So,
But Tatum also struggled a few games in that series, right?
Yeah, I wasn't,
It was
I wasn't
also
surprised
not in the
by it.
Dallas series.
No, I don't really. I don't really remember like the numbers and all that.
So, but we'll see this year. We're going to see Sunday at
I'm pretty
3:30.
optimistic.
I'm very optimistic.
If we have a healthy Porzingis, I think he's the X factor. He
Yeah.
opens up. He's the cheat code for the whole team. Opens everything up. Great defensively. Like just covers so much ground. Just a tough matchup.
Just got to keep him out there.
Just gotta keep him out.
Hopefully he stays healthy for this run.
Well, you got a bunch of bigs for Orlando. So you're going to need Horford. You're going to need Porzingis.
You almost.
You're going to need, I hate to say it, you're going to need Kata in this series.
Yeah, I don't know if Cornette plays. He might be a little like white and slow.
They love him though.
Yeah, but I think they love him regular season. I don't
Yeah.
know how many minutes he gets. It might be Horford and Porzingis playing a lot of minutes, which kind of makes me a little nervous.
Makes me very nervous.
Yeah, but I think that's it. I don't know if you could. Maybe Kata, maybe a few minutes to spell those guys.
You're gonna need another big man out there.
The great thing about the playoffs is you do play every other day.
Right.
So you do have the rest, which Horford and Porzingis are going to need, and Jaylen Brown.
So the other game last night, Memphis Grizzlies. One last thing about that Magic Hawks game. Trae Young, how did he get thrown out?
Well, yeah, what did he do? He kind of threw a ball
But he
quickly
didn't
to
really,
a ref.
Quickly to a ref. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
That was the big thing. And then the refs were all pissy. And, like, you can't throw Trae Young out of that game no matter how much time is on the clock.
Well, that was the first technical. What was the second technical?
It was also something equally as stupid. It's in the
I think
probably
he
wrong
faked
page.
the pass to the ref, but then
yeah.
and I think the ref felt like he was being shown up, so he teed him up.
Again, here we got a classic example of refs wanting to be a part of the game.
Be a part of the show.
And it just aggravated me. So, but Memphis and Golden State last night. Memphis melts down.
Yep.
Have a 5-second clock violation. Can't get it in bounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
And blow the game. And Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry went absolutely off. Almost 40 points apiece for those two guys. They are going to be a force going forward in this playoffs. Because they got the monkey off their back. They were 0-3 in play-in games.
Who do they play? Golden State.
Houston.
Yeah.
Houston. Ooh.
That's a young team.
Yeah. It's a defensive-minded, tough, but you have playoff Butler, right? Playoff Jimmy.
Curry.
Playoff Curry. That's a tough draw for a number 2 seed. You got Golden
For
State.
number 2, like, brand new seed.
Yeah, let's
really?
see,
like
let's see how good Udoka is. Let's see how tough
may
these
got
guys,
some,
you know?
So if Houston is to win this series, it is all because of Udoka.
Well, it's the mindset of, like, we're physically tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough 7 seed. I mean, we're talking about the Magic. They're playing Golden State. Jeez.
Golden State feels like a 3 seed, 2 seed.
Yeah.
But
and they have the playoff experience.
Every matchup in the Western Conference is
little
a
bit
tough
tougher.
matchup.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it seems like the East is kind of weak.
Yeah, bunch of
Top
frauds.
heavy, that's it.
And I feel like, is it Detroit playing the Knicks?
that's going to be the best
That's the
series.
great
I think Detroit's knocking the Knicks out.
I agree.
Yeah, Detroit's-
and that's another team that is going to cause the Celtics fits in the second
Well,
round.
I think Detroit's kind of similar to Houston. They're kind of like young. They're athletic.
I'd be
they're
shocked
tough.
if they got them.
they play the Celtics so hard.
Yeah.
And it's because they don't care and they know they've beat us. That's the problem
Yeah.
with them. They're going to come in with a chip. They know they can beat the Knicks. They know the Knicks are soft. Watch Isaiah Stewart in this game, in this series against the Knicks, throwing guys around. Right. And Cade Cunningham is as cool, calm, collective assassin as you're going to get.
And that came out pretty good off your tongue.
Thanks.
Now, one thing I do question, during the regular season, Detroit wants to knock off the Celtics. Celtics have a lot of games that they don't really show up for. So it'll be interesting to see if they play them in the playoffs, if it's the same. But the Detroit team is a little bit of a problem as well with their intensity and how hard they work and how athletic they are.
You know why Detroit plays it so hard?
Because they play?
Nope, because
Full effort?
Jaylen Brown made a joke of that team on live TV.
Oh, yeah.
He said-
Back in the day. He's
No,
like,
that was start of this season.
okay, we'll let Pritchard score. We'll let Hauser score.
Because we know
We'll
these
feed
guys
those
aren't good. We'll feed those guys. We'll let those
right.
guys have a good
But-
night against teams like Detroit.
Yeah,
Call
which
them
was
right out by name.
Stupid comment.
Yeah.
But also being the NBA champion, these teams they're gonna shoot for you. So whether he made that comment or not, Detroit feels like
That's just added fuel.
Yes,
Make
yeah.
comments like
How many
that.
of those times were those games back-to-backs for us and stuff like that?
yeah.
A lot of that stuff you kind of got to throw out.
That's why the regular season might not matter as much as people think.
Bob brings in a good comment. I think you said this as well. Playing a team hard in the regular season is one thing. But
Yeah, we'll see. But I think Detroit's tough, though. I think they're tough.
do I think Detroit beats us in a series? No. But I think you even alluded to this last week, is you can see if we match up with Detroit, that's a 6-game series.
Maybe. It's going to be similar to that
It's
Indiana.
grinding anyways.
The Indiana series. I think we swept them, right?
We did. Halliburton got hurt.
But every game was tough.
Yeah.
Every game was so. If you're playing Detroit, they're going to be in every game.
But again, this would be, if we watch the Celtics step on their throats, like, that's what we want to see.
I don't know if that's a team that you can. They just keep fighting though. They
That's
keep
what I mean.
scrapping.
I think that would give. I mean, as a fan, as an NBA fan, if you watch the Celtics come out and sweep the Magic and then get matched up against either the Knicks or Detroit, and they sweep that team,
Yeah.
or only lose one close game,
Right,
you're
right,
like,
right.
you're gonna be feeling good about yourself, especially
Yep,
going
yep.
up against whatever's left, Cleveland, Milwaukee,
Indiana.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So
Look good.
Hopefully Jalen's healthy, and that's not an excuse that we have to use.
Hopefully Jalen's healthy and the unicorn.
Yeah. Well, the unicorn, knock on wood, is healthy right now.
Yeah.
So the healthiest he's been all year.
Last little thing that we actually talked about this last week too, but officially KD wants out of Phoenix. They're done. They've already said they're trading him this offseason. He will not be back. Locker's cleaned out. He's gone. I do not want to see him here. If he comes here, I'm going to support it, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to be silly here. But
Yeah.
I've never been a big
2016.
fan.
yeah.
Never been a big fan. So
I just think
keep moving on.
the length of Tatum and Durant on each of your wings.
And then if you get by one of them, you got Porzingis.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it
What would it
adds
cost, though?
it adds a lot to the team. I just don't like him. I don't like what he's done over the years, and not just playing basketball, just the way he's gone into teams, wrecked them, and then left. He only wants to go to a
I
winner.
don't really think he's gone into teams and wrecked them.
He blew up the Nets.
He didn't blow up the Nets. The Nets weren't really anything. The Nets got rid of
No,
their
he
whole...
went in there thinking, I'm gonna run the show here. I'm gonna bring guys in. We're gonna win. They did shit. They got rid of draft picks
but
that
that's
kind of
not
blew up.
Durant's fault, what happened in Brooklyn.
I'm not a fan. The guy, to win a championship, he had to go hang out with Steph.
It was an instrumental point. In
Yeah,
that.
and he did win back-to-back MVPs.
And he did take multiple games
I get
over,
that,
just like you
but
want.
he
took
couldn't
games
win.
over.
He couldn't win a championship without Steph.
I wonder how many teams would be in the market for Kevin Durant.
And
It's probably less than you think.
but I also think the asking price for him has gone way down.
Right,
That's the thing.
because
Well, he's
I'm
like
thinking in my
35,
head,
isn't he?
if you could give up Drew Holiday and some of the younger guys in 2 or 3 first-round picks, that'll be late picks in the first round, I'd do it in a second.
You'd have to get rid of Jaylen Brown. Kevin Durant, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum do not fit. It doesn't fit.
It's too much scoring, but at one time, you also had Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Klay Thompson was scoring a lot.
Klay Thompson was very young back then. Klay Thompson took a back seat.
Yeah.
And I think Steph has a different mentality than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Okay,
Jalen would be butthurt, but that team could also win 70 games. That would be tough.
Yeah.
It would, because you would be looking at Derek White, Jalen, Tatum, Durant, and Porzingis. The NBA is a game of, if you have a ton of talent, you don't even need coaching.
Right.
And if you have that much talent, it's going to be tough to lose.
Bob chimes in again. Great volume scorer, but he's not a player that lifts up others.
But you don't need it because
We're
we're already there. We're already there.
Yeah.
Just stays afraid of a valid point, though, of him bringing this team down. But I don't think
Oh,
Durant...
so
you
established.
have so much talent. You're so good.
And Durant is
He is
actually
good. He just
beloved.
doesn't bring the players around him up.
But
I don't think we need it.
I get your
We
point,
probably don't,
but Durant is actually beloved around the league.
and that's fine.
But that works. If you have a player that doesn't really bring up other people, that's, lack of a better thing, he's not out for himself. If he's still loved by everybody, and he's not a bad guy, people have never said he was a bad teammate. He's revered still in Golden State. He's revered everywhere he goes. I think in Phoenix, the downfall of that was the Bradley Beal.
That's weird. Yeah.
I just think that,
And-
like I said, I don't want them to go all out for KD, but if he ended up here,
No, if the price is right, you take
Would
it.
you do Drew Holiday, Peyton Pritchard, and a few first-round picks? Right? The money might match up, and it's an older Kevin Durant that might not need to score 28 points a game, and he can average 18, which, I would do that.
and Bob also chimes in, that team won 73 games and lost in the NBA Finals, being up 3-1.
That
The
wasn't-
season before Durant
Before
came.
Durant, yes.
So
Yeah, and then you talk about load management. You could easily do load management with Jaylen Brown and all these guys because there's so
and
many.
Grant, and Porzingis.
And Porzingis.
Yep.
You could load manage throughout the whole season and still win 65 games.
I think
I would do this in a second. NBA is a sport of like talent. Like
How old is Durant at this point?
2007 was his draft class.
30-something.
So 2007,
Mid-30s.
we're going to do some quick math. That is 18.
Right in front of you.
What was that?
He's probably 38.
18. Came out after his freshman year.
Let's let him work it out.
Yeah, he's good with math.
35, 37.
36, yeah.
But with a few good years left, though.
Yeah, I think he's
It
got
wouldn't
two.
be taxing years either on the Celtics.
No.
Yeah, it depends on where he goes. I mean, if he did go to the Celtics, he doesn't have to play as much. He's not relied on to do all the scoring.
Right.
So
You nailed it. He's 36 years old. Tony's a math guy.
Boy math. Yeah. It's a lot of numbers.
Honestly, OKC would be kind of cool. Full circle.
OKC would be... Oh, that would be pretty cool. Yep.
Yeah.
Another guy, I don't know if he'd fit out there, again, with that young team. I just think they're too young to bring in a star like that.
he's
Yeah,
too
it
old
has to
for
be
that.
a watered-down version of Durant, right? A watered-down version of his ego.
Yeah.
For him to fit on OKC. But at this age, he might have that.
That's what I'm saying.
SGA's over there going, "Hey, Grandpa, sit down. I don't need to hear from you."
Yeah.
He's got MVP probably, so he's got clout. Big first run. We'll see what they do this year.
I don't think they're coming out of the West.
No?
But we'll get into that as the playoffs roll along here. Before we get into baseball talk, I want to touch quickly on the Masters and Rory coming through with the win.
All right.
I just think that I love the fact that he finally won, that he got that monkey off his back. I wanted to see more of a dominant performance out of him coming into it. I think of him, he blew it multiple times. I don't know. He ended up in the playoffs and he looked good. It's a nice story that he finally got it. Now that the monkey's off his back and he plays again next year, he needs to dominate. He needs to come out with it. That's my 2 cents. I completely forgot going into this that nobody else
Nobody
watched
likes
any of
golf.
I watched the final.
All I know is they give a green jacket for the Masters, and
it. Very prestigious.
Rory
There's only
pro-
35 guys that are still alive that have a green
they
jacket.
probably could have gave him a brown one for this year because he pooped his pants at the end. And then if he does dominate next year, then say, well, now you deserve a green one.
All right.
He still won it, though. He still finally won it, and it was...
That's as much as I know about golf.
Yes. Which is more than...
Tiger Woods hasn't joined the senior PGA Tour yet, so...
It was nice to see him finally win.
Great drama.
Yeah, and it wasn't at the end, watching him win that, watching him collapse, watching all the build-up, it was great that he finally got it. I think it would have been more to talk about if he blew it yet again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I was happy for him.
I think everybody was. I think...
I was pumped.
Yeah.
Drank a couple beers
Yeah.
because of it.
All fired up.
Yeah. Get her done.
All right, Tony. Are the Red Sox in trouble, or is it too early?
It's too early.
It's early.
I think what we saw yesterday is what it would look like if the Sox played the way we thought they would play.
Yep.
Mediocre pitching that kind of survives because your offense gives you a little bit of a lead. Defensively, I know they've been struggling. I think they're pretty good defensively. We take a look at last year's team that was a little bit over 500 or right around 500, and we had guys like Emmanuel Valdez playing and Pablo Reyes. There aren't guys like that on this team. This team is good, and they got off to a rough start, which as Boston sports fans we tend to overreact. But I think they're solid. I think their pitching is. They have an ace who stopped 2 losing streaks. I get it. One of them was against the White Sox.
Still, it was a great ace performance.
Yeah,
he was mowing guys down.
Yeah, and the other guys weren't beating them. So I think they're going to be okay. I think the bullpen looks pretty good. I think the starting staff, with the exception of Crochet, might be mediocre.
Tanner Hulk the other night.
Yeah.
How many runs did he end up giving up?
It was like 9.
No, I thought he gave up double digits.
thought it was
Might have
11.
been. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was
That's
11.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because I was surprised to see that they left him in. It was like 8 runs at one point, and he was still going.
Well, first game of the series, you can't just go an inning and a third. You got to eat up innings to save the bullpen.
You hope.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
but that's why they kept him in even while he was getting rocked, because they're like, you got to give us at least 3.
And I'll give it to somebody I don't normally give credit to, Justin Elwood, on this one. He has proclaimed over and over again that Tanner Hulk is not that great. And I don't... Go ahead.
The fantasy baseball people, they don't like Tanner Houck at all. He legitimately is like a 3.5, maybe a 4 starter. He had a very good year last year.
I thought he had.
He won 16 games. He was in the All-Star game. A very good year for him. He wasn't lights out.
He started off hot last year, then the All-Star game, and he came back to life.
That. Yeah, he should be a 4 or 5 starter. I think because he won 16 games, people think he's a number 2. He's not a number 2. The good part about the pitching staff is you have guys waiting in the wings with Bayo, Giolito, Cutter Crawford. So you do have some depth, and then that could bring a few of the starters, Fitz. And
isn't Dick hurt?
Yeah, he's hurt right now. But he eventually will be in the bullpen. That's another good arm in the bullpen. So, and I think the offense will be fine. I think defensively they're fine. They still have guys that aren't hitting, but I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be okay.
Bob Roxbury asked a question here. Are the players tuning Cora out, or is it too early to tell?
No, they love Cora. They love Cora.
I don't think anyone... I think the only person on that clubhouse that has tuned him out, and I just think he's tuned out the world, is Cassis.
Cora does not like Cassis. No. And if you listen to when people speak about Cassis, I heard Jim Rice make a comment about him. I heard Middlebrooks on the radio 2 nights ago say, I don't even want to know what's going on in that guy's head. I don't think they like them, but then after watching yesterday's game, Alex Bregman's just the perfect professional. After yesterday's game, Alex Bregman's cool with everybody. He goes right up to Cassis, who he knows is struggling. He's shaking his hand with like all these funny hand signals, and he went right up to him because he knows for us to win, this guy has to bat 260 with 27 homers and 90 RBIs. And I think he recognizes that he's struggling, probably hurting mentally, and he went right up to him instead of going to his boy. He's tight with Trevor Story, he's tight with Jaron Duran, but he singles out. That's like a classy professional.
That's what we talked about before. Why we wanted Bregman is a clubhouse leader, and that's what this team needed.
And he just gets it. He just gets it, right? And I saw that right away. I'm like, dude, that's a smart veteran move by Alex Bregman.
Now, isn't Bregman out on maternity leave now?
Yes, he's up here. I don't know who's playing third tonight. It's not Devers, I don't think. Maybe Romy Gonzalez.
Jay Fields thinks that we won't see him till June.
Who?
Bregman.
He'll be back
Get that new pregnancy gimmick.
Well, they got that maternity leave now.
This isn't Pipetta's maternity leave.
No, I think in the MLB, I heard somewhere today that they only get 3 games.
3 games?
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to take 3 games off.
I hope not, especially after that
No.
performance last night.
He's your best offensive player at this point. I'm just hoping that maybe when it warms up, some of these pitchers will look better, like Walker Buehler. You're kind of expecting better out of him.
You're not going to get better. He's going to be a guy that labors through 5-6 innings.
He had a decent win the other night.
He had a great, not yesterday, the one before. He looked great.
Yep.
But I think more often than not, we're not going to see that. I think we're going to see the guy that kind of labors, but he's tough. And he'll get through 5 1/3, but it's not going to look the way it did 2 or 3 years ago with Walker Buehler because he was lights out. He was a top of the rotation pitcher.
No, but he's playing for a contract.
Yeah,
he's
but
playing for his future.
After 2 Tommy Johns, I don't think it's left in the tank.
Nah, maybe not.
He's just a guy
I'm surprised after 2 he's pitching again.
Yeah, he's just going to get by with like grit and toughness, which he has. But I just don't think it's going to look as good as it did 2 or 3 years ago.
2 more little tidbits I want to get into with our Major League Baseball. Mike Trout, red hot. Looking awesome. Looking back to what at one time was the best player in Major League Baseball.
At one time on pace to maybe be the best player of all time.
Right.
And he got slowed by injuries year after year, all these lower body injuries. They probably should have moved him out of center field a long time ago. He has, I think, 6 or 7 homers, beautiful right-handed swing. But the question with Mike Trout isn't if he's going to get hurt, it's when is he going to get hurt. I think last year he hit 10 homers in he was on pace for 40-something homers. If he's still one of the best hitters in baseball, but he just can't stay on the field.
Right. We need him on the field. Major League Baseball needs him on the field.
I kind of question how much he wants to be like the face of Major League Baseball because he's never really taken that role, and he should have back in the day. And then he just got the call from Mark DeRosa the other day, like, we're not going to have you bring out the flag for the World Baseball Classic. We're going to have Aaron Judge do it. And
but he was full support of Aaron Judge.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like you don't want to be the guy.
But I think he played this right. You don't want to be the way Mike Trout is perceived across the league right now, in all of Major League Baseball is he can't be whiny about it. And I think that if he would have came out any other way than what he did, it would have been
No,
perceived as
and
whiny.
I think it's the right move.
And
Aaron-
I honestly think when you listen to him talk,
Yeah.
like he was happy. He was happy for Judge.
Yeah, I don't think he wants the spotlight. And Aaron Judge should be carrying out that American flag. Aaron Judge is on top of his game and an all-time great as well. But Mike Trout never wanted to take that like lead as like the greatest baseball player.
Right.
And that bothers me. Like if you're that great, like let's market you. And Major League Baseball came to him and he's like, nah, I'm good.
The
Just-
Angels never did anything with him either.
And they had Shohei too.
So Bob says Angels wasted his prime.
And they had Ohtani at the same time.
Wasted his
crazy.
career, not just his prime.
Yeah.
His whole career has just been a waste with the Angels. And
Yeah, it's terrible.
it is.
Well,
'cause
hopefully at some point he moves on
But
and
it's
is a DH for like the Yankees or the Red Sox.
But on one hand, you get aggravated, not you, but just everybody in public when guys leave to join other teams to
Yeah.
win. You're like, this team guy's ring chasing. He couldn't do it on his own. And now here we are, blasphemy's not the right word, blasting Trout because why don't you leave and go join a contender?
Yeah, I would hate to see his whole career go by and him never play a playoff game.
Yeah,
that
see, it's
just
not-
doesn't feel right.
I don't have an issue with Trout, not leaving Anaheim. I have an issue with Anaheim they had Trout, they had Ohtani,
Yeah.
and they did nothing else.
Well, they tried. They signed Anthony Rendon, which ends up being one of the worst contracts in Major League Baseball history. Makes $30 million a year, and he is terrible. And he has like bad hips, and he's out for the year. He doesn't play.
Yeah.
Bob Burns chimes in here with the Aaron Judge. He says he questions Aaron Judge being an all-time great. He said he's not even an all-time Yankee, is he? He wouldn't crack the top 10 without the title.
He's hit 60 home runs, 50 home runs a few times.
Would you consider him an all-time great?
Right now? No, but he's on pace to be an all-time great. I mean,
Okay.
how many times...
It's a good pivot.
How many times, is he better than Manny Ramirez? Is he better than David Ortiz? Like, prime Judge.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Judge is better.
Yeah.
Judge is better.
Okay,
I
here's
don't
my
think
thought.
anyone's more clutch than Ortiz, though.
I'll give you Ortiz, but Manny Ramirez was automatic. Manny Ramirez didn't strike out. I mean, in his we're talking prime Manny Ramirez. That's right? That's our gauge.
Yeah,
I just think Manny Ramirez, when he came up to the plate, you knew no matter what he was getting a hit.
Right. Well,
Judge still, I love Judge. I'll
Let me
defend
look
Judge left and right. I love everything that he brings to the game.
do you mind looking up... Get away from Frozen. Do you mind looking up Aaron Judge's numbers
But
last year?
Aaron Judge is one of those guys that's great for the game. He stops people in the street. He plays catch with kids.
yeah.
Aaron Judge is one of those guys that if you right now saw him
He
walking
talked
down the
to
street,
you.
he'd talk to you.
Yep.
So it's not about that. I just think that when he comes up to plate, especially in the playoffs, you're not like automatic hit. And Manny Ramirez in the playoffs as well was nails.
Okay, so Aaron Judge last year batted .322, 58 homers, 144 RBIs, 10 stolen bases, and an OPS of 1,159.
What happened in the playoffs though?
He missed a fly ball in center field.
And ruined the game. And lost.
Yeah, game 5.
I don't want to talk trash about Judge because I love him. I just think prime.
Career stats, 289, 321 homers.
Are we talking Judge?
Yeah.
What about Manny?
Did Manny hit 500?
I'm not. Visually.
Yeah.
I know it's been removed, but from Manny,
I
I
love Manny
loved
Ramirez.
Manny.
I love Manny Ramirez. I think Judge is one of the all-time greats. I do.
I think he will be. Yes.
Yeah,
right
I
now
think-
in the
yeah.
game, yeah. Right now,
He's going to need a ring.
he definitely needs a ring.
He's not going to go down as one of the greatest Yankees
I
if he
think the
doesn't
best
get a ring.
hitter of all time is Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a ring.
Manny has 555 home runs.
555 homers. All right, so career numbers.
At the bottom.
That's tragic that Barry Bonds doesn't have a home run.
Oh, he has a
Ring.
home run.
I mean-
He's got several of those.
Series.
Never hit a home run.
I heard my kids in the background. It scrambled me.
Yeah.
So one last thing I want to get to for baseball, and it's going to give you a chance to beat your chest a little bit here
Okay.
to our naysaying TikTok fan base who thinks that you don't know baseball, nevertheless Mets baseball. I believe that you pointed out earlier in the season, actually before the season even started, that Juan Soto was going to get walked a lot. because they didn't have any other. They needed another big star, and people jumped all over you about that. He's Juan Soto. They listed off all these other players. They basically just kept saying that you're an idiot, and now you have Juan Soto coming out and Juan Soto backing up what Tony Icon Furtado said 2 months ago.
Probably watched the podcast. And
they're not pitching to him.
Yeah, and mind you, Pete Alonso is tearing it up, and they're still not pitching to him. There's no reason to pitch to him. I felt like the Mets lineup should have been deeper. So to have Pete Alonso there, that's great, but you needed another bat or two. And then I think people were mentioning names like Mark Vientos, who's batting about 140, 0 home runs. They're mentioning all these others. You need scary bats to protect a scary bat. And I think that's one thing Soto didn't think about. His numbers were great last year. But they're great because they have to face you because they're looking at Aaron Judge on the on-deck circle.
And Soto backs you up because he 100% said that. He just said that.
Right.
Because I don't have an Aaron Judge on this team.
Yeah.
But he did. And he had the offer to stay with Aaron Judge. And he chose to go to the Mets. So
Oh, sweet though.
don't really want to hear the whining about not being pitched to and everything. You chose that path.
Right.
You were a free
and
agent.
I think Juan Soto is great. His pitch selection is great. He's just a great hitter. But if I'm pitching to Juan Soto without Aaron Judge on deck, I'm pitching around Juan Soto.
Yeah.
And I'm going right at Peter. And I know Pete Alonso's hot. Pete Alonso's
hot because they're going around Soto and pitching to Pete Alonso.
And Pete Alonso gets hot every once in a while, but then sometimes he gets very, very cold. And what's going to happen when he gets cold? If they're not pitching to Juan Soto when Pete Alonso's hot, what are they going to do with Juan Soto when Pete Alonso's cold?
You can't have Lindor hit 1 through 9.
Yeah. I mean, the Mets somehow find a way to win. They're very similar to the Brewers that way. Like, I don't feel like the Mets are great. They just find a way to win, but this lineup really scares me. Like I said before, and I got ridiculed for, it's just not a very deep lineup.
But Tony, they're number one. They're what, 12-5 right now?
Yeah,
Tony.
but it's early. It's early. They lost 4-3, I think, today. But it's just, I just don't see a lot of offense happening.
Right. All right, Dave.
Oh, this is when I leave when they do the hockey. Yeah. See you guys in a bit.
We have.
And now, the Coach's Corner with David DeShulo.
It's finally over. Well, the Bruins season, at least.
This will be our last Coach's Corner of the year. And I think we said that last week, but the Bruins said some really dumb things this week. Yesterday. And Dave, we touched on this 2 weeks ago about the Bruins coaches, how it wasn't the coaches, and now you have the owners coming out basically blaming it's the coaches. When your last two coaches are now on playoff teams.
Two of the best coaches in the NHL.
You let go of Montgomery, and he went to one of the worst teams in the league, and now that team is in the playoffs.
In Montgomery, I can somewhat understand. He wasn't here that long. He was very successful when he was here, but he had some, past issues that people can sit there and say, make up excuses why to get rid of him. Bruce Cassidy, there was no reason to get rid of him other than there was a couple of players that didn't like playing for him. David Krejci retired because he didn't want to play for Cassidy. Oh, so sad. Bye, Krejci. And DeBrusk wanted a trade because he didn't like Cassidy. Yeah, so sad. DeBrusk is gone anyways, so you lost one of the best coaches in the league, in the world. And then you bring in Montgomery, who does fantastic 2 years, can't get it done in the playoffs. You fire this guy, and now, what are you doing? You're gonna put this season on Sacco? This is Sweeney and Neely. They cannot sign free agents. They're not very smart at it. They thought Elias Lindholm was worth.
Hold on, before we go down the free agent for a little bit, Jay Fields chimes in, and I agree with you, Jay. Here, why is this loser still here? And I'm wondering if he's referring to any of the things: Sacco, Sweeney, Neely. Why are any of these losers still here? And then Bob Roxburgh chimes in. Charlie Jacobs reminded us all why we should hate this organization. And I think going into the free agent market where you were just about to hit into the drafts, I think this year is going to make us hate this team even more going forward.
It's quite possible because they overspent to get Lindholm. He's a second or third line center at best. You paid him first line center money. Zadorov, I know people are a little excited about maybe his last few weeks or a month or so. You know, he was fighting and hitting, and yeah, he's a rough guy. You like that in the playoffs. Well, you're not in the playoffs. You spent a lot of money to get him. Maybe it works out for you next year. They loaded up on bad contracts, on bad, not bad players, but just not worth the money they're paying them. They misinterpreted talent. If they do that again this offseason, I mean, if they leave Sweeney in there to do this offseason, this team's going to be screwed for the next 10 years because he's going to give out massive contracts, and we're going to be stuck with players that probably don't fit.
And we're stuck with Sweeney after everything that just happened with Marchand. After he moved on from all those players, I hate it. You can't get rid of him right now. You got to kind of see the plan through this year. But I think this year, I know we've said this many times in the past, guys, but I think this truly is actually going to be a make or break year for Sweeney.
Well, there's some big names, and the fact that he was the GM of the Canadian team might help him out a little bit. Mitch Marner, which I'm not a huge fan of, but he impressed me in the Four Nations, and then Sam Bennett is another name that's being tossed around. I mean, if you get them at reasonable money, I would take them on this team.
Yeah.
But I think the only connection is that the fact that he was a Canadian GM and he picked those guys to be on that team. Other than that, I mean, what do you want to come to Boston for?
Nothing right now. To play with Swayman?
There's a lot of young players that you don't know anything about any of them.
Yeah. Lysell showing some
promise. A couple of their younger guys, it almost makes you wonder why they weren't brought up a few months ago to give them a shot, like we've been saying all year. Because this team, I'm pretty sure we called it in like November that they had no shot at making the playoffs.
I'm the biggest Bruins blowhard, and I finally gave up.
Yeah, I mean, they were so terrible to watch. The game we went to against Utah was like one of the worst.
I think that's when we went to that game early in the season against Utah, and we came on here the next week going, that was the worst display of hockey we've ever seen, and it wasn't from Utah.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens. They're probably not firing Sweeney or Neely. I don't understand it, but we'll fire another coach. We'll bring in another coach to do whatever Sweeney tells them so that the team can fail again. And I don't know, maybe this moron Jacobs will realize like Sweeney is not that good at his job, and I don't know. What does Neely do? I don't know.
I'm done with this team. So this will be the last coach's corner in Bruins anything you hear until the next stupid thing they say, we get closer to the draft. Yeah. Because just listening to you talk about the Bruins infuriates me. It's not you. It's just, I mean, you're calling it right out. What we saw all year long, and just listening to it.
But I have to give props to two guys. Morgan Geekie had 25 goals since the beginning of the year, January 1st, which is amazing. Yep. And David Pastrnak, and to Fields' question, Pasta is the captain of this team next year. He did not give up. He scored over 100 points with a lackluster talent around him. To score 100 points with nobody but Morgan Geekie playing with him, it's pretty amazing. If he actually had a line mate like a McDavid Draisaitl combination, he would have put up 140. He would have scored 70 goals. The kid is unbelievable this year, and he deserves to be the captain of this team going forward. Screw the rest of them.
And then Tim Brown, I completely agree with you. Why don't ticket prices go down? Why don't ticket prices drop when a team
they're
sucks?
Going up.
Much like how they did the Fenway Group, was the team sucks, they jack up the prices.
Yeah, I mean, Patriots tickets probably went up too.
Yeah. All right, speaking of Patriots, that's a great segue.
There we go.
Let's talk a little bit of NFL this week. We have the draft coming up. I think next Wednesday will be our big draft show, seeing that the draft is the Thursday following our show. The little juicy story that's gaining a lot of traction is a Chris Olave to the Patriots for the number 4 pick. And now, not only do we get Olave, we also get the Saints' number 9 pick. Which, now we have another great weapon for a wide receiver.
Yep.
I don't know how much you know of Olave, but he's great.
He's
a deep threat.
He's healthy.
If he's healthy. But same with Diggs. And the number 9 pick, we could still get Will Campbell.
Mason
and I know
Graham.
everyone here is gonna roll their eyes at this one. But with the number 9 pick, I don't mind drafting a LaDainian Tomlinson type running back with Austin Gentry. I probably just destroyed his first name. But now you have Diggs, Olave, Gentry, and then, I mean, you still have Hooper and Hunter, and then you can fill the rest of the draft with left tackles.
If you can run the ball, it opens up a lot.
I mean, this is what people are saying, a LaDainian Tomlinson type running back.
Yeah.
This is not just your run in the mill.
I know, but
How much wear and tear does he have, though?
I don't think much.
my biggest issue is our offensive line isn't great.
That's the thing.
And Saquon Barkley, with a crappy offensive line with the Giants, didn't really dominate games the way he did with Philadelphia.
I have the counter to that.
Yeah.
They had nothing else. So you could load up the box and force Daniel Jones to throw the ball
Right.
to Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
Was that their big threat?
Yeah, they didn't have
Don't forget they had what's his name, the wide receiver that can't get on anywhere else, Tooney. You know?
Yeah.
So they didn't have anybody.
I just
If they had a decent quarterback and one other weapon, you'd
it
have
could
to
open it up
respect it a little bit.
But I still think you need the offensive line. I don't know if we're ready for that.
McDaniels will find a way, though.
I just think with that number 9 pick, I wouldn't be disappointed if you drafted him there.
Right, and I think with it being a number 9 pick, if they take Campbell, you're okay with it. If they take whoever, the tight end from Penn State, you're okay with it. With it being number 9, I think the issue is people are thinking, I don't want to waste a number 4 pick on this.
No.
But if it's the number 9 pick, it's like
It's great.
okay.
It's kind of gravy.
Exactly.
Feels a little better.
Feels a little bit better. Yes.
So that's
I would take a flyer on Olave if you're getting 9 and you're giving up the 4. Because I think the top 3 spots in this draft you're getting. I shouldn't say elite talent. The 2 of the players I think are elite, and then a quarterback's going to get drafted because a quarterback has to get drafted in the first 3 picks every year. So I don't think these quarterbacks are great. I don't think they'll ever be great. But the 2 other players, Carter and Hunter, are like elite talents. And then after that, it's good players, but you're not worried about. You can get just as good a player at 9 as you're going to get at 4 or 13.
Absolutely.
and you have a lot
compared to
more
4.
options, like Tony just said, without getting the negative press behind, without everybody questioning that number 4 pick. With number 9, you're going to get less of that. And I think that's worth the trade. I mean, I know somebody here in the comments here, I believe it was Melissa chimed in. Melissa, who was noticeably not at the Probably Wrong
Nice job,
podcast
Melissa.
event.
Thank you for showing up.
On Saturday night. But he brought up Olave already had 2 concussions. So
But I guarantee all these wide receivers have had 10 or more concussions. It's what gets registered on paper.
But like I said, he's talented enough that if you're moving
Olave?
from 4 to 9,
Okay.
you're gonna get Olave, and you're gonna throw that 4 pick out and get 9. It's not, and then you can kind of let some of these other teams pick away at guys that you maybe had question marks about, and then your guy is there, and you're like, there's a reason
or
he fell
maybe
to
you have
9.
3 or 4 guys, and you're like, I don't really care which one we have.
But
Right.
with Will Campbell is if he doesn't go 4 to the Patriots, the next couple picks don't need him.
Yeah, he's not going.
That's not where he's going.
He's
Jets,
still-
Raiders,
still-
Jets, Raiders, 7,
Yeah.
8. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still available at 8, 9.
I kind of want Will. If we don't get Abdul Carter, I think I want Will Campbell. Because I think Will Campbell might not be great, but at least if he's solid, I think it makes Drake May a heck of a lot better. I think we saw Drake May with a crappy offensive line be pretty good. And I think if you get him a little bit of stability, he could elevate himself.
And if you draft Will Campbell at 9, and he moves to be a guard,
You're
and he's the best guard,
Then you're kind of okay with it, right?
you got him at 9.
Yeah, and you still have a horse.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think this offensive line is going to be much better with this coaching staff anyways. So
Yes.
you add a kid like that, plus if you're going to add Olave and you got Diggs and the weapons, I think Drake May has, the possibilities are endless with this kid, with the talent that they're putting around him. And the offensive line, like you said last year, the offensive line was so bad, and he still did pretty well.
Yeah.
No complaints.
With the weapons.
You get him
Yeah.
you get him a mediocre line, and these weapons. I think they score some points this year. They put up some yards.
Can we talk about Travis Hunter's comments for a minute? We're getting close to the end of the show here, and I wanted to bring up what he just said the other day. No, he didn't hear it?
I did not hear it, no.
If he can't play both, he doesn't want to play.
Yeah, I think Travis Hunter is going to be a pain in the ass. he also said that what he does is more impressive than what Shohei Ohtani does.
Yeah.
Did he say that?
Yeah. And Shohei Ohtani, who is a lights-out pitcher and a lights-out hitter that hit 50-50, he's saying what he does is. I'm like, dude, just shut up. You haven't played one
You
game in the
haven't done
pros,
it yet, so
Right.
yeah, shut up.
and we don't know how good you're going to be on either side of the ball.
Right.
Shohei's doing it on the highest level. It's like, dude, you're not
Yeah.
even in the same category as
If
Shohei
he
Ohtani.
goes out there and he gets laid out by a safety and he's concussed and misses a bunch of games, and what are you saying then? You know what I mean?
Probably nothing.
Just shut up until you've done something.
Yeah.
No one needs to hear your mouth.
Right.
I'm like, when I first read it, I go, no, it had to have been misconstrued.
No,
right?
that's what he said.
That's
Yeah.
what he said. And I believe he actually doubled down on it.
Right.
I think you have to know when you're drafting him that you're going to have to play him both ways. You have to figure out how to manage his plays on both sides so that, you're getting the best of him for the team, offensively, defensively. So you kind of know, like, all right, I'm drafting Travis Hunter. He's going to be a receiver and he's going to be a DB for me.
And that's why the Cleveland Browns or the Giants fit him perfect.
He has to commit to one, and then if he's a wide receiver, he has to be a nickel.
I think the easiest thing is to be a lights out corner and play 20 offensive plays.
Yeah,
I
learn a
think
few
that-
routes, and
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a
I
package
think
for
that's-
him.
How he's acting and what he's saying is completely against what Ryan, you just said, and Tony, you just said, is what he's going to need to succeed in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he's just...
And when he gets hurt doing it.
Yeah.
To his point, it could be calculated to get him to a spot, because that's what Sanders... It's from the Sanders friggin' playbook, right? That's what Dion did with Atlanta. Detroit better pay me whatever. They're going to take me.
He doesn't
right?
want to go to Cleveland.
That's what it could be.
Not
as well.
many want to go to the Giants.
Right.
They're just a mess.
Right.
Front office, team wise. I mean, if we didn't have the Patriots, I would say they were the biggest mess in all of football. But we've been one of the biggest ones, So
It could be calculated. He seems like a good kid, though, outside the comment.
And Jay Fields chimes in. Stephon Diggs, Hunter, Olave, Bourne, Hooper, Douglas. You might be brewing a nice mix with some depth. Yeah, but I think if we pull off the Olave trade, Hunter's not going to be there. That's the only problem.
yeah, they're not going.
Yeah.
Right.
So, all right. Well, we saved the best for last. WrestleMania 41 is Sunday night, and we have
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday. Ryan here from the North South Podcast Network. Completely
follow.
destroyed that.
Sure.
Give him a follow. It'll be in the comments. We just did an amazing wrestling show.
Yeah.
So that'll be out pretty soon. Check it out. We won't bore you to death with the WrestleMania 41 talk here, but I cannot wait. Saturday, night one, epic night, match after match after match. And then Sunday, what better to follow up the Celtics playoff game one with
Now, what
WrestleMania
time
night two.
do they start?
7.
Both nights?
Yep.
Saturday,
doable.
Saturday starts earlier, but matches start at 7 because
Yeah.
Saturday has
So
all.
they-
It's much like it's the WWF Super Bowl,
Yeah,
so there's
yeah.
a lot of
Pre-game.
all day long.
Do they have the WrestleMania at Barrett's?
They might actually.
There's definitely won't be a table, though, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll be checking that out. Can't wait. On
Cody
that-
or Cena? You could break a tie for us. Cody or Cena?
Cena.
Oh,
Cena.
okay.
There we
Love
go.
it. Love it.
Okay.
I like it. Good job, Dave.
Yeah,
Just curious.
it wasn't a tie. It was 3. We had 3 of us.
I come for 2.
Okay. All right, yeah. I guess it was a tie.
On that note, we'll see everybody next week.
I just want to date somebody.
All right, check you later.
Bye.